Welcome back to Decoding Yoga and Happy New Year. So excited to be here on this first episode of 2023. I wish you the best. I wish you a year full of love, abundance, peace, and fulfillment. I'm definitely excited for everything that is coming with new projects, new dreams, and new ideas here and there. So today we start this series. I decided to start this series to decode yoga cues that we hear so many times in classes that probably we don't necessarily understand. What does it mean? And even as yoga teachers, I have realized that a lot of people, what they do is they just repeat what they have heard from their teachers without actually analyzing the logic behind that cue. So today is the first episode of that series. In December, I started the series of the physical part of yoga because it's one limb. It's one of the 8 limbs of the yoga philosophy. But I really hope by now we have the clarity that yoga is a method, it's a philosophy, it's a lifestyle, it's a guideline to live our life. It's not only what we do on the mat. The asanas will help us to be healthy and strong and flexible and carry this physical body for a bigger purpose, but yoga is actually the bigger purpose. So I would like to continue with that physical aspect of yoga by talking about these cues that mainly refers to what we do with the body, but we are not necessarily so clear about this. Cues such as protect the knee and melt your heart, open your heart to the sky, shoulders down, and so many other cues that are kind of repetitive, and it has an anatomical purpose why we're saying this. So I would like to invite you to be with me this month. I will have guests in the show to talk about anatomy. So if you are passionate about anatomy, and if you're not, please, I will invite you to listen to the episodes that are coming and to watch the videos that we're doing about this topic, because I will try to use the anatomy in a very easy way to understand, because as yoga practitioners, our best lab, our best feedback platform is our own body when we're doing asanas, but we need to understand what are we supposed to do to see if this is what we're feeling. And as yoga teachers, hopefully you have the background of anatomy and a better understanding of this, but also let's decode the mystery or the meaning behind those cues. I've been teaching yoga teacher training courses in person and online for 9 years now. And it really shocked me at the beginning. Now I'm kind of like used to when I ask my students, the students that are coming to the courses, what do you think this cue means? Right? For example, in back bends, it's quite common to hear teachers saying, don't squeeze your glutes when you are in back bend. But then we learn that anatomically speaking, you need to squeeze your glutes. The glutes are going to contract whether you want them or not, because they're extending the hip, and that is something needed for the back bend. So these upcoming months, I think I will run this series definitely for January, and I'm pretty sure I will extend it to February, because I have received questions from students, from practitioners that are following my classes in the YouTube channel, Sampoorna Yoga Online. And they ask me questions about how to better express this action if they're yoga teachers, or as practitioners. They say, look, my teacher keeps saying this, protect the knee, and now I'm actually afraid of doing yoga. We have said so many things about how yoga is going to, or the asanas are going to injure you, so that we have to protect the knee, that we have to protect the lumbar spine, don't compress the lumbar spine when it's something that is anatomically present in our daily life. We compress the lumbar spine every time that we do an extension of the spine. So people are actually afraid now of practicing because a lot of people are getting injured by practicing asanas. But my idea with this series is to understand that it's not what we do, it's how we do it. So in the moment that we understand the mechanic of the asana, where is the movement coming from? And the answer to that question will be always a joint, because the movements happen at the joints. And depending on the shape of that joint will be able to perform certain movements. So this is basic and fundamental as yoga teachers, and why not as yoga practitioners, to educate ourselves, to understand mechanic of poses, where the movement, the main movement, needs to come from to make that asana be the asana. Because of course, all our joints are involved, a lot of systems are involved, but there's one or two particular joints that have to produce majority of the movement to make that asana be that asana. And then the other ones will follow and will assist. So my idea when I teach anatomy, and that's why I have moved from aesthetic approach, from the how a pose looks like, and I have moved more to the functional approach to the physical aspect, the physical practice of yoga. And it's more like, what does it feel? How does it feel to be in that pose? So it's not how it looks, it's how it feels. And the best way to do this is to observe, to analyze, to feel. When another cue that I'm going to be talking about is practice with awareness. Okay, awareness of what? What am I supposed to be aware of? I believe that there is this lack of education in yoga, in the asana aspect. We, as yoga teachers, when we ask our students to practice with awareness, we can say that after we have educated our students, the poses are for this, these are the benefits, this is the area that we're meant to target, this is the place that we shouldn't feel this pose, and if you feel it there, this is the way that you can modify. This is how we educate our students, and once, as practitioners, we have that understanding, then we'll be able to practice with awareness, to understand the difference between pain and discomfort, that I will be talking about that too, and how I can modify. So this month, in February, we are going to be decoding these words that are spoken so fast. I would say we don't take time to explain, especially if you're practicing vinyasa. The practice have a pace, and there's no much scope for explanation what it means. But hopefully, I would love to see more workshops the teachers do for their students to understand altogether, okay, when I say protect the knee, this is what it means. We need to pay attention to this other area, because then the knee will reflect the lack of movement in the hip joint, for example. So anyway, as you see, this series is going to be a lot about anatomy. It's my passion. I think you already know that. I teach yin yoga and functional anatomy. So I will try, and I promise to try to break it down in a simple, easy to understand way, because I'm a strong believer that anatomy, understanding the anatomy of movement is crucial when we are practicing only asanas. Because remember, you can be practicing yoga every single day, 24/7, not necessarily on the mat. But if you come to the mat regularly, definitely this basic knowledge of anatomy and understanding of what does it mean when my teacher says that now I have the awareness of doing this is crucial. And if you are a yoga teacher, anatomy is a must. It will help you to create smart sequences and to cue your classes in a more effective way, so your students can actually get the benefits of the poses. So I hope that you find this series helpful. We will start with the first cue next week, and which will be protecting the knee. We will start talking about that because I have heard that cue so many times that I dedicate a lot of time. In when I teach this in person, I usually take 1 hour talking about protecting the knee. We will try to summarize that next week in a short period of time. I have Inga with me. I will have Inga with me next week. So I'm very excited to have her in the program because she's very passionate about anatomy as well. Anyway, so I'll leave you with this. Let's make all the purpose, let's have this goal of start the practice of yoga. Even if you start on the mat, that's a big step, and hopefully start translating these principles of the yoga philosophy to our daily life and be the better human being that we can be without getting hurt. This is not the purpose of asanas. We are not aiming to get injured when we go to asana classes. And for that, we have to be smart practitioners and smart yoga teachers being effective in what the things that we say. So thank you so much for listening this first episode of this year. And I will wait for you here next week when we start this series of decoding yoga cues. Have a lovely rest of the day. Have a lovely week. And I will hear you next Saturday. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, and thank you so much for watching this video. After so many years of teaching in yoga teacher training courses, I realized that a lot of people don't understand exactly what yoga is, or they have a lot of misconceptions and doubts. And that's why I created the podcast Decoding Yoga. Every week, I share a new episode with you where I talk about cues, about postures, about yoga as a lifestyle, about these myths, these doubts, these ideas that we have been repeating in yoga classes, and we don't even know what they mean. We don't understand what those cues mean, and we keep repeating them. So we have repeated so many times that we believe they're true. So I hope you can join me in the next episode. You can watch the video here, or you can look for the show in any of the audio platforms available. And if you have a question, a doubt, you have heard a myth about yoga and you want some clarification, let me know below this video and I will be happy to create a program to reply to you. Thank you.